Hello and welcome to a short video where I will be talking about how porn destroys productivity. This is something I used to struggle with a lot in the past, and I went away, did some research and figured out why this is. So first of all, I think we need to understand how dopamine leads to us actually valuing porn so much, because that is a major influencer on our productivity. So essentially, dopamine evolved for our genes to really value things in our environment and in the world around us as a whole, so that we place certain values on things that are going to help us survive and reproduce. You know, you're walking down millions of years ago or thousands of years ago and you see some food, you see some berries, you get all excited, the dopamine is activated because you associate berries with a better chance of survival because it fills the need to eat. And then another example may be, you know, you're walking down the street again. I don't know if they had streets millions of years ago, but we'll go with it. And you see some really attractive woman and you're like, okay, let me go and pursue her. She's just what I need to reproduce and pass on my genes. So you go and talk to her and you have sex with her, you pass on your genes. Probably wasn't that simple, but you get the picture. Now, in terms of pornography, we are going to value porn massively because in our brain, dopamine is released huge amounts when we look at porn because it associates porn with orgasm. You know, you're looking at all these women or men and you're getting this huge amount of dopamine being released because it's attached the pornography with the orgasm. And from an evolutionary perspective, having an orgasm is probably one of the best things your genes can possibly do because it is massively linked to survival. So you may be like, well, how is having a child linked to your own survival? And it's because from our genes perspective, it's actually about passing on our genes. It's about our genes being replicated. So our genes place a very high value on porn. And so what dopamine then does is it's constantly seeking and scanning the environment, looking for opportunities to go and get porn. In the past, I would be on Instagram and I'd be trying to do some work on there, maybe some marketing, and I would get so distracted. I would end up seeking models and looking at just sexual videos, sexual photos, and it's because my brain placed such a higher value on porn than it did my own goals and what I actually wanted to achieve with my life. So in terms of the data, 7% of people in America said they were addicted to porn. This was out of a general population size, 2,000 people, completely random, men and women of around an equal amount. 7% said they were addicted to porn. That might not seem like a lot, but I think it's something like 20 million people. Like, that is actually crazy. Like, how many people are actually addicted to porn? It's just mind-blowing. And 8% of that 2,000 general sample size, 8% of those said that they had actually put off things that they needed to do to go and view pornography instead. So 8% of people totally distracted, not focusing on their goals, not focusing on what they actually want in life and pursuing the things that they really need to be pursuing because they were looking at porn instead. And this is largely due to salience. So how the brain works is it will start to place more value on the things that are most important to it from the perspective of dopamine and evolutionarily, you know, just surviving and passing on our genes. And our genes want to continue replicating, and that happens through reproduction and that happens through orgasm. But our brain mixes up the orgasm with porn, and that's when it starts to seek out sexual content online. So you may think that, you know, 10 minutes spent on Pornhub, it's not a lot of time. And so 10 minutes out of like a whole day, 10 minutes out of 24 hours, it's not a lot of time. So, you know, looking at porn's not too bad. But I really don't think the whole porn problem is related to how much time people spend looking at porn. I know this from my own experience again. You know, for the last few years now, up until learning the Beyond Compulsion method, I was probably looking at porn maybe once a month. So I kind of went on these no-fap streaks and I'd be doing very well. And then I'd go and look at porn and I'd feel terrible for ages. And my productivity would reduce for ages because I looked at porn once, maybe for like 10 minutes. But then that would massively reduce my productivity in life as a whole for the next few weeks because my mind was then focused on, well, I really want porn right now. And then a part of my mind was, I really don't want porn right now. So then I was in this conflict, going back and forth in this internal battle and just struggling each day. So it didn't really matter that I'd only looked at porn for 10 minutes or whatever it was. The problem is that the brain has evolved to place a high value on the pornography because it's related to the orgasm and reproduction, and then we're distracted, and then we're focusing on other things. And actually, some studies have shown how it can really damage the brain temporarily because of brain plasticity and neuroplasticity. So we can reverse all of these problems that go on, but this study was really interesting. So it was on 64 men. They hadn't looked at porn. They weren't porn addicts. Maybe they'd looked at porn in the past, but they weren't porn addicts. And then they were sat down and they were basically made to watch porn as part of this study for long periods of time. And then what happened is they went away and they tracked their brain and what was going on, and they actually had lower grey matter. They had a disruption, a negative impact on the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. That's where rational decisions are sort of made in the prefrontal cortex. It's responsible for executive function, and also lower putaminal activity as well, which is involved in learning and motor control. I remember after looking at porn in the past, I'd be walking down the street and I'd literally bump into people because my motor control was so bad. So yeah, it's crazy to look back and think how badly my brain was impacted by porn. And this is very real, and all the neuroscience suggests this. And a large part of it is simply because your brain is then focused on, how do I get porn in one way or another? And then if you don't want to look at porn, you've got another part of your brain which is focused on, how do I not look at porn? And then what space do you have left? What mental clarity and energy do you have to actually pursue the things that really genuinely are important to you? So I just want to share a few of the studies that I use, so you can find those in the YouTube description. And then if you do want any more help in terms of porn addiction recovery, then we can jump on a call, a one-to-one call, and I can share the fundamentals of the Beyond Compulsion method with you. This is a method which has worked since 1990 for hundreds of clients, and I partner with a woman called Mary Paulus to help other people use this method as well. So there'll be a link in the description where you can book in a call and learn more about this method. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you can understand how important it is to quit porn, because it will be disrupting your productivity right now. It massively disrupted my productivity, and I really do wish you all the best and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye.